someday, somewhere, somebody's going to raise enough money independently to do that study on their own. I don't think it's going to take more than maybe a couple $1,000,000, and we can have it done with an IRB and done through an educational institution, and we can show unequivocally that what you were talking about earlier about going to daycare or going to schools where the kids are unvaccinated, and you look at how healthy they are and how they're bright and inquisitive and they've got good functioning minds versus the dumbed down kids that have no brain power and they look like they've got fog over their eyes and they just can't think, and it's because they've got brain inflammation going on. If we had an epidemic of children that were going blind, that 1 in 110 kids were now blind, instead of figuring out how to have more seeing eye dogs and how to teach more of these kids Braille, we would be having a absolute runaway campaign to raise money to stop this blindness and figure out why these kids were going blind. But we have an entire generation, an epidemic of kids losing their minds, and we just go, oh well, maybe they need an iPad. And if we have autistic kids using an iPad, maybe they can learn to communicate rather than looking at what the underlying cause is. It's an absolute travesty.
Well, you know what's behind that. The establishment, and I saw this years ago, and then actually have covered in think tank documents going back to Edward Bernays. They talked about this. They said if we're doing something that's making the public angry and there's some epidemic or some social ill, we'll just go form groups to lead the opposition. And it's like the pink campaign. My wife always talks about this. Everybody is, I mean, it's up several thousand%. We're the #1 country in the world for breast cancer. It's epidemic. Young women are getting it. And there's never a discussion about what is causing skyrocketing breast cancer. It's always, let's find a cure for breast cancer, which is more radiation, more chemicals, chemo, more cutting. And it's just amazing. I mean, take my grandmother. She got breast cancer like 6 years ago. And they went in. She said, no, you're going to take out the tumor, and that's it, and I'll just die if that's the case. And then they got all angry. She went and got a couple more doctors. They found a doctor that would just take it out, and she's fine. She went and did her own research, found out the type she had was so slow growing. She comes back 6 years later. Oh, there's a little bit there now. It'll take probably 10 years to kill you. She said, hey, I'm almost 90 years old, okay? The great thing is she's still got her mind. And she's a great grandmother to my children. But the average person, some 30-year-old gets it, and they just go in there and chop both their breasts off. I mean, I know women who are getting their other breast chopped off because they had it in one breast. They're telling them, we just better chop both off right now. I mean, it's so horrible having my wife, my daughters, my mother, all these women I love, and just seeing this happen to them, and men die, and boys, all these other cancers. And they won't ever ask, why is it skyrocketing? No, that's the question you don't ask, because these lobbies want to keep it going forever. They'll just get more power when all the women have breast cancer. And that's what I think you got at. That's the motive here, is that while they're killing us slowly, they can suck everything out of us and have big galas with politicians up there who are eugenicists laughing. I mean, it is such a sick plan. Closing comments on that.
What are we going to do to change it? How are we going to get people involved? What is it going to take to get people out of their chairs and on the phone, on their computers? How much courage can we give people? How can we define what we want and get a burning, passionate desire to go after it, which means that we need to take back responsibility for our health. And those people who stand up there and laugh about these things, they need to be done away with. And that means vote them out of office, get somebody else in. I admit I'm a big Ron Paul fan, and I believe that all the things that he does are really great. I believe that we need to be supportive of the local people that really want to make a difference. I think we need to be courageous and not worry about bringing up the vaccine issue and whether or not our best friend gets angry with us. We're here about saving the planet and what's left of the human race. And I think courage is the most important thing that we can do.
That's right. I mean, this is about, for viewers out there, I'm going to look right at the camera, this is about getting out of your comfort zone. When this whole society stays in its little bubble and the system wants to make that bubble smaller and smaller and smaller, that's control. And my instincts, unfortunately, have always been right. I knew 9 years ago with the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, when they openly tried to, this is what we will close with, it's just so important. I knew with the Model Health States Emergency Powers Act, when they openly tried to get all the police and people to take the shots for smallpox and then anthrax so they could, quote, make us do it, admitted, they did this right from 9/11. We were all in fear. The government launched the anthrax attack. That's come out. To have forced inoculation, the police were smart enough to say no. Only 4% out of 100 agreed of the, quote, enforcers. So now I knew with the TSA, it's about them getting their hands on us, them training us. I knew they'd be on the highways. Now they are. And now I've seen articles admitting during biological outbreaks, the TSA will run checkpoints and will make sure that you either take the shot or go to quarantine. So this is going to be their cover, more than even stage terror. And I'm telling you, it's coming. All the movies, all the preparation. I've told you what's coming before it happened because I've got a survival instinct, folks, just like you do if you turn it on. And it's time to get out of the comfort zone because these people aren't playing games. And I'm telling you, this whole Homeland Security grid is nothing but a cleanup crew for billions of dead people. And I'm telling you, it's coming. And they're checkmated right now because they can't launch this right now because their own enforcers and people have heard the truth and are going to ask questions when all this unfolds. You think Hitler was bad, folks? You ain't seen nothing yet from these eugenicists. And I'm warning you right now. You better get your thinking cap on and your game face on and decide, like the doctor just said, which side are you on? Which side are you on, people that work for Big Pharma and others? It's time for whistleblowers. It's time to stand out. It's time to hit the streets. It's time to call into talk radio. It's called to get angry. When that school lies and tells you it's the law, your kid's got to take a shot, you should get angry by the fact that they're consciously defrauding you and lying to you that it's the law to take the shot. Doc, this whole program to get us used to them putting their hands on us, federally funded blood draws now at checkpoints for DUI, they're now admitting that segueing us to forced inoculation.
Well, what else can you say, Alex? It's just people have got to, you've got to decide which, are you going to go along with the crowd? Are you probably going to end up mass inoculated? Maybe who knows what else? I mean, if they're doing forced blood draws, that means that they've got DNA samples of you anywhere. And at the least invasive of that would be that they could look at your DNA and say, oh, this person's at risk for getting MS down the road. Or
they've been taking blood for 39 years at birth in every industrialized country in a world program. I got secret documents 16 years ago. People didn't believe it. Now for 4 years, Doc, it's admitted. What else don't we know about? What else are these creepy eugenicists doing?
Exactly.
Well, give us your websites. Tell us how people out there who may be skeptical but now understand it's their duty to check. Let's just say we're crazy, we're wrong, though we've been proven right hundreds of times over and over again. Let's just say we're wrong. People still have a small chance it could be true. Of course, it's absolutely true and then some. But they at least have a responsibility to go check out the facts.
They do. You do need to have a responsibility to look at the other side and to understand that there are two sides here. And one is it's a big decision for a lot of people, Alex. And so if you want more information, I would really hope that you'll come to my website, which is drtenpenny.com, D-R-T-E-N like Nancy, P like Paul, E-N-N-Y, drtenpenny.com. There's DVDs there, there's books there, there's free material. I would hope that you would look at our flu DVD. I know that's also available through Infowars because there's so much information there that we've done all the work. The work's already done for you. So all you have to do is just to sit down and look at 12,000 hours worth of information that's been boiled down into maybe 4 or 5 hours and get yourself educated and stand up and say, I now know that there's another side. I know what's going to happen and I'm not going to let this happen to myself and my family. I'm not. I'm taking a stand. I'm standing up and being courageous. And I'm going to walk across the field and I'm going to go over there and stand with the people who are refusing to let this happen to myself and my family.
Well, you've just done incredible work, and your dedication is paying off. You're another testament, Dr. Tenpenny, to what we can all do by stepping up and doing whatever we can in our area. Duty is ours. Consequence belongs to God. People say, well, we can't win. It's too big. Whatever. We got in this position by believing we can't win. We will win. We will defeat this tyranny. God bless you, and thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Wow, what an amazing lady. And as she said, her videos and materials are available at Infowars.com if you'd like to support us as well, or her website that was on screen earlier. And we do have the money bomb coming up. It was listener supported. The globalists have sold us on an idea that the government takes our money and gives it to media outlets and propagandists like NPR and forces us to finance their evil. But then when alternative media asks for support from people that are like-minded and want to spread the truth, it's bad. And I love the fact that I get attacked by people and trolls over these money bombs, which started 4 years ago as a listener idea, because it really shows we're getting under their skin. And it only makes people donate more at InfowarsMoneyBomb.com so we can continue to grow this operation and resist tyranny when they see the trolls all over YouTube and all over my site and the people calling for hack attacks and the demonization. People see right through it. You know, here we are saying buy the books, buy the DVDs, be PrisonPlanet.tv subscribers. And if you want to do more, do our once-a-year money bombs. We can hire some more people. I'm already talking about an extra IT person so we can get even more done, maybe 2 off the money bomb. I went ahead and pulled the trigger to put them in here as a test ahead of time, and I'm sure the money's going to come in because God always provides through great people out there. We're getting more equipment. We're doing more. We're adding more to PrisonPlanet.tv, more to the radio show. We know the place and time in history we are. We know how critical it is. And the hoax that people shouldn't support alternative media, doctors like Sherry Tenpenny, people like that, it's all imploding. People are like, wait, it's good to have my money taken, or it's good to have NPR beg for money, or it's good to have George Soros, who steals it, through banker bailouts and stuff, and through currency manipulation. He gives money to all these groups that he's finagled. But then it's bad for Alex Jones to say, if you believe in this message, give us money. It is hilarious. And again, it just shows how people out there and the paid trolls and all the rest of them just can't handle the truth. So even if you can't donate to the Infowars money bomb, spread the word about it. We're going to be broadcasting at least 24 hours starting next Thursday, November 3rd, right through into the next day. We're going to have a bunch of live guests, a bunch of incredible people are going to be there. And I'm going to broadcast marathon through. We're going to have some special surprises coming up as well. That, of course, will all be at PrisonPlanet.tv. It's going to be free to everybody, by the way. We're going to have a video box for everybody to be able to watch the money bomb. And it turns out to be about 20% of our operating capital. I just know we're going to reach our goal of $500,000, which isn't your grandpa or even your daddy's $500,000. It's about, in 1970s money, it's about the equivalent of $75,000. And we're going to be able to get a couple more IT people, equipment, and a lot more. And I'm very, very excited. And people are already giving at InfowarsMoneyBomb.com. We normally launch this about a month before. And generally, about 1/5 of the money we're going to get is donated beforehand. And this time, it's a fraction of that because, A, we're in a depression. B, we only launched this thing 15 days before. So if you want to go over to InfowarsMoneyBomb.com and donate, that'd be great. Or buy more memberships to PrisonPlanet.tv. It certainly is concerning the system. It certainly has got the establishment really freaking out. Not just because we are here asking for donations and that idea, but that they need to demonize the idea of voting with your dollars, supporting alternative media, buying organic food, homeschooling your children, doing things like that. They always demonize Ron Paul and put out stories about his spending when it's the cleanest spending out there of any statesman. There aren't many statesmen, politicians. They always put out after every congressional campaign lies about that. They don't like this idea of people engaged in revolution through their money. The globalists want to use the money that they create out of nothing to enslave us, but we can use it right back against them. So, and I want to just say great job to the crew and their dedication. We'll see you back here, Lord willing, 7 o'clock tomorrow for another edition of Infowars Nightly News. I want to thank Dr. Sherry Tenpenny as well. I want to thank Aaron Dykes for sitting in while I was on the road out in Las Vegas, of all places, because that's where Ventura was for his TV show. He was out there for 3 days in Sin City. We're going to have some reports on Sin City. Rob, you've downloaded all that video I shot, right? On top of everything? Oh, yeah, time's flying, but we ought to try to get that done by Friday or something, just because all that footage. But I know I've got to voice it. It was just amazing. It was like Gulliver's Travels meets Pilgrim's Progress meets Journey to the Center of the Earth meets The Matrix. I mean, it was bizarre from start to finish. From the time I hit the Austin airport, the time I flew back, it was the most bizarre. I don't know, what's 3 days? 24, 48? I mean, it was